The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the ancient manor that stood at the edge of the village. Its once grand facade was now cloaked in ivy, the stone walls whispering secrets of a time long past. The villagers dared not venture near, for they knew the legend of the cursed love that haunted the manor's halls centuries ago. When the manor was still vibrant with life and laughter, it was the home of Isabella, a young woman of unparalleled beauty and grace. Her father, a wealthy lord, sought to marry her off to a powerful nobleman to strengthen his alliances. But Isabella's heart belonged to another. Damien, a brave and noble knight, had captured Isabella's heart with his kindness and valor. Their love was pure and unwavering, a beacon of light in a world often shrouded in darkness. They met in secret, their stolen moments filled with whispered promises and tender embraces. They dreamed of a future together, away from the constraints of their respective worlds, but fate had other plans. On the night of the blood moon, a rare celestial event that bathed the world in an unsettling red hue, Isabella and Damien planned to escape. They would leave behind the life that sought to keep them apart and forge a new path together. As the blood moon rose, casting an ominous light over the land, they met one final time in the manor's secluded garden. Unbeknownst to them, Isabella's father had discovered their plans. Consumed by rage and a desire to maintain his power, he sought the help of a dark sorcerer. With twisted incantations and forbidden magic, they cast a curse upon the lovers, ensuring that their souls would be bound to the manor for all eternity, forever separated by an invisible barrier of sorrow and longing. As Isabella and Damien embraced under the crimson sky, a chilling wind swept through the garden, and a shadowy figure emerged. The sorcerer, eyes gleaming with malevolence, chanted the curse that would seal their fate. Isabella felt a searing pain in her chest as Damien's eyes widened in horror. The world around them blurred, and the last thing they saw was each other's tear-streaked faces. The curse took hold, and the lovers were torn apart, their spirits trapped within the manor's walls. Isabella's anguished cries echoed through the halls, while Damien's desperate calls went unanswered. The once vibrant manor became a place of desolation, the air thick with sorrow and despair. Over the years, the legend of Isabella and Damien's cursed love spread through the village. The manor stood as a grim reminder of the tragic tale, its windows dark and lifeless. Some claimed to hear Isabella's mournful wails on stormy nights, while others swore they saw the ghostly figure of Damien wandering the grounds, eternally searching for his lost love. The villagers spoke of the curse in hushed tones, warning each new generation to stay away from the cursed place. They believed that only a love as pure and strong as Isabella and Damien's could break the curse and bring peace to their restless spirits. And so, the manor waited, shrouded in mystery and haunted by the memory of a love that defied time and fate. It waited for the one who would dare to uncover its secrets, the one who would rekindle the flame of a love that refused to die. Lily McAllister stood at the edge of the village, staring up at the imposing structure that loomed before her. The manor, with its weathered stone walls and overgrown gardens, seemed to whisper tales of a bygone era. She had inherited it from her estranged grandmother, a woman she barely knew. The letter had come unexpectedly, a crisp white envelope bearing the name of a lawyer she had never met, informing her of the inheritance and the necessity of her immediate presence. As Lily stepped through the iron gates, their rusty hinges groaning in protest, she felt a shiver run down her spine. The path to the manor was lined with gnarled trees, their twisted branches forming a canopy that blocked out the sun. She had always been a city girl, accustomed to the hustle and bustle of urban life, and this secluded village felt like a different world entirely. The villagers had watched her arrival with a mix of curiosity and wariness, their eyes following her as she made her way to the manor. She had felt their whispers, sensed their unease, but she brushed it off as small-town gossip. As she approached the front door, she fished out the old, ornate key from her pocket and slid it into the lock. The door creaked open, revealing the dim interior of the house. The air inside was musty, filled with the scent of aged wood and dust. Sunlight filtered through the grimy windows, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Lily set her bags down and took a tentative step inside, her footsteps echoing through the empty halls. The manor was vast, with rooms that seemed to stretch endlessly, each one filled with antique furniture covered in white sheets. She wandered from room to room, her fingers trailing over the faded wallpaper and dusty surfaces. In the library, she found shelves lined with old books, their spines cracked and titles barely legible. The kitchen, with its ancient stove and worn countertops, spoke of a time when the manor had been full of life. Now, it was a ghost of its former self, a relic of a past long forgotten. As the day turned to evening, Lily decided to explore the upstairs. The wooden staircase creaked under her weight, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She found her way to the master bedroom, a grand room with a four-poster bed and heavy curtains that blocked out the light. She pulled back the curtains, letting in the last rays of the setting sun, and felt a chill in the air. A sudden noise startled her, a soft thud followed by the sound of something skittering across the floor. She turned quickly, her heart pounding, but saw nothing. Just as she was about to dismiss it as her imagination, she noticed a small, ornate box on the dresser. It hadn't been there before. Lily approached the box cautiously, her fingers trembling as she lifted the lid. Inside, she found a locket, its chain tangled and the metal tarnished with age. She picked it up, and as she did, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing the candles she had lit. In the sudden darkness, she felt a presence, an inexplicable feeling of being watched. "Hello?" she called out, her voice barely above a whisper. There was no response, just the sound of her own breathing and the distant creak of the old house settling. She clutched the locket tightly and made her way back downstairs, determined to shake off the eerie feeling that had settled over her. In the living room, she built a fire in the hearth, hoping its warmth and light would chase away the shadows. She sat on the worn sofa, staring into the flames, her mind racing with questions. What had she gotten herself into? Why had her grandmother left her this manor, and why did it feel so alive? As the fire crackled and the night deepened, Lily's eyes grew heavy. Just as she was about to drift off to sleep, she heard it again, a whisper, faint and distant, but unmistakably real. "Lily," she sat bolt upright, her heart pounding. She looked around the room, but it was empty. She could still feel the locket in her hand, its cold metal pressing against her palm. She knew then that the manor held secrets, and that her arrival had awakened something within its walls. Determined to uncover the truth, Lily made a silent vow to herself. She would unravel the mystery of the manor, no matter what it took. Little did she know, her journey was only just beginning, and the shadows of the past were eager to reveal their secrets. Lily awoke the next morning to the sound of birds chirping outside her window. The fire had long since died out, leaving the room cold and dim. She stretched and glanced around, half expecting to see a ghostly figure standing in the shadows. But the room was empty, and the only sign of the previous night's strange occurrences was the locket she still clutched in her hand. Determined to continue exploring the manor, Lily made herself a quick breakfast and set off to investigate the rest of the house. The daylight streaming through the windows gave the place a less menacing feel, but she couldn't shake the sense that something was watching her. As she roamed the upstairs hallway, she noticed a door at the end of the corridor that was different from the others. It was smaller, with heavy iron bands and a large, ornate lock. Intrigued, Lily tried the handle, but it wouldn't budge. She jiggled it a few more times, frustration growing. "Why is this door locked?" she muttered to herself. She glanced around, hoping to find a key nearby, but there was nothing obvious in sight. Undeterred, Lily decided to search the rest of the house for a key. She scoured the dusty drawers of the study, rifled through the cluttered shelves in the library, and even checked the kitchen cabinets. Hours passed, and she was about to give up when she spotted a small, intricately carved box on a high shelf in the library. She pulled it down, her heart pounding with anticipation. Inside the box was a collection of old keys, each one unique. She hurried back to the locked door and began trying the keys one by one. Finally, on the seventh key, she heard a satisfying click. The door creaked open, revealing a dark, narrow staircase leading upward. Lily hesitated for a moment, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension washing over her. She grabbed a flashlight from her bag and took a deep breath before ascending the stairs. The air grew colder as she climbed, and the scent of old wood and mildew filled her nostrils. At the top of the stairs, she found herself in a small, dimly lit room. Dust motes floated in the beam of her flashlight, and the air felt heavy, as if it hadn't been disturbed in decades. The room was sparsely furnished, with only a small table and an old, wooden chest in the corner. Lily's eyes were drawn to the chest. It was ornately carved, with intricate patterns that seemed to tell a story. She knelt down and carefully lifted the lid. Inside, she found an assortment of old letters, photographs, and a leather-bound diary. The diary's cover was worn, and its pages were yellowed with age. She opened the diary and began to read, her heart racing as she deciphered the elegant, flowing script. The entries were written by a woman named Isabella, and they told the story of her forbidden love with a man named Damien. The words were filled with longing and passion, but also with fear and despair. One entry, in particular, caught Lily's attention. May 15, 1852. Tonight, Damien and I will meet under the blood moon, and we shall leave this place forever. But my heart is heavy with dread, for I fear that our love has drawn the ire of forces beyond our understanding. I have heard whispers in the night, and I feel as though we are being watched. If anything should happen to us, I pray that whoever finds this diary will understand our love and seek to break the curse that binds us. Lily's hands trembled as she read the words. Could this be the same Damien and Isabella from the village legend? And what was the curse Isabella spoke of? She continued reading, piecing together the tragic love story and the dark events that had led to the lover's demise. Each entry seemed to bring her closer to the truth, but also deeper into the mystery of the manor. As she closed the diary, Lily noticed a small, folded piece of paper tucked into the back cover. She unfolded it carefully, revealing a crude map of the manor. A room in the basement was circled in red, with the words, "The Heart of the Curse," scrawled next to it, determined to uncover the secrets of the past and perhaps even lift the curse. Lily knew she had to find this room. She tucked the diary under her arm and made her way back downstairs, her mind racing with questions and a growing sense of urgency. As she descended the stairs, the manor seemed to come alive around her, the walls whispering secrets and the floorboards creaking underfoot. She could feel the presence of the past, a shadow that lingered in every corner, and she knew that her journey had only just begun. Lily stood at the top of the grand staircase, the diary clutched tightly in her hands. The secrets of the past seemed to weigh heavily on her, and she knew she needed a break. The air in the manor felt suffocating, filled with the whispers of ghosts and the memories of lost love. She decided to take a walk through the village, hoping the fresh air would clear her mind. As she stepped outside, the sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the village. The cobblestone streets were quiet, the shops closed for the evening. The villagers eyed her curiously as she walked by, their whispers following her like shadows. She could feel their unease, their suspicion of the outsider who had come to inherit the cursed manor. Lily found herself at the village square, where a small market was still bustling with activity. She wandered through the stalls, admiring the fresh produce and handmade crafts. It was there that she first saw him, a tall, dark-haired man with striking blue eyes that seemed to pierce right through her. He was leaning casually against a wooden post, his gaze fixed on her. "You're new here," he said, his voice smooth and confident. "I'm Ethan." Lily hesitated for a moment before replying. "Yes, I just inherited the old manor." "I'm Lily." Ethan's eyes narrowed slightly. "The old manor, huh? You must be the one who woke them up." "Woke who up?" Lily asked, a chill running down her spine. "The spirits," Ethan replied, his tone grave. "The manor has been quiet for a long time, but your arrival has stirred things up." Lily's heart pounded in her chest. "What do you mean? What do you know about the manor?" Ethan glanced around, making sure no one was listening. "Not here," he said softly. "Meet me at the old chapel at midnight. I'll tell you everything you need to know." Before Lily could protest, Ethan turned and disappeared into the crowd. She watched him go, her mind racing with questions. Who was this mysterious stranger, and what did he know about the manor? As midnight approached, Lily made her way to the old chapel on the outskirts of the village. The moon was high in the sky, casting an eerie light over the landscape. The chapel was abandoned, its wooden doors creaking as she pushed them open. Inside, the air was cool and damp, and the faint scent of incense lingered in the air. Ethan was waiting for her, standing in the center of the chapel with his arms crossed. "I'm glad you came," he said, his voice echoing off the stone walls. Lily stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Tell me what you know." Ethan sighed and ran a hand through his dark hair. "The manor is cursed, Lily. Centuries ago, a terrible tragedy occurred there. Two lovers, Isabella and Damien, were torn apart by a dark sorcerer who cast a curse on them. Their spirits are bound to the manor, unable to find peace. "I know," Lily said, holding up the diary. "I found Isabella's diary. She wrote about the curse and their love." Ethan nodded. "Yes, and the curse is still very much alive. The villagers know it, too. They stay away from the manor for a reason." "But why did my grandmother leave the manor to me?" Lily asked, her voice trembling. "Why now? Your grandmother was the last in a long line of guardians," Ethan explained. "She was meant to protect the manor and keep the spirits at bay. When she passed away, the responsibility fell to you." Lily felt a surge of fear and determination. "What do I need to do? How can I help them?" Ethan stepped closer, his blue eyes intense. "The curse can be broken, but it won't be easy. You need to find the heart of the curse, a room in the basement. It's the source of the dark magic that binds Isabella and Damien. Destroy it, and you might set them free." Lily nodded, clutching the diary to her chest. "I'll do it. I'll find the heart of the curse and end this." Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Be careful, Lily. The manor is dangerous, and the spirits can be vengeful. But I believe in you." As Lily left the chapel, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but she was determined to uncover the truth and free the spirits of Isabella and Damien. With Ethan's warning echoing in her mind, she steeled herself for the challenges to come, ready to face whatever horrors the manor held. The manor seemed to come alive as the sun set, casting long shadows that danced across the walls. Lily could feel the weight of the old house pressing in on her, the air thick with a sense of foreboding. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that unseen eyes followed her every move. The diary and Ethan's warnings had only intensified her resolve to uncover the truth behind the manor's history. As she settled into the study, surrounded by stacks of old letters and documents she had found in the locked room, the whispers began. At first, they were faint, barely audible over the crackling of the fireplace. But as the night wore on, they grew louder, more insistent. "Lily." The voices seemed to murmur, sending shivers down her spine. She tried to ignore them, focusing on the faded ink and delicate paper in front of her. The documents detailed the manor's history, its previous owners, and the events that had unfolded within its walls. But the whispers persisted, growing more distinct, more desperate. "Lily, help us," she looked up from her work, her heart pounding. The room was empty, yet she could feel the presence of something, or someone, lingering just out of sight. The shadows in the corners seemed to shift and move, and the temperature dropped, the air growing cold and still. Determined to confront whatever was haunting her, Lily stood and followed the sound of the whispers. They led her down the grand staircase and into the dark, winding corridors of the manor. The shadows seemed to guide her, pulling her deeper into the heart of the house. As she walked, the whispers grew clearer, the voices of Isabella and Damien mingling with those of other spirits trapped within the manor. They spoke of love and loss, of betrayal and despair. Their pain was palpable, their longing for release a heavy burden that weighed on Lily's heart. At last, the whispers led her to a small, hidden door at the back of the house. It was covered in cobwebs and nearly invisible against the dark wood paneling. Lily hesitated for a moment, her hand hovering over the door handle. Before summoning the courage to open it, the door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase that descended into darkness. The whispers urged her onward, and she felt a strange compulsion to obey. She took a deep breath and stepped onto the stairs, the wooden boards creaking under her weight. The air grew colder as she descended, the darkness closing in around her. She could feel the presence of the spirits more strongly now, their whispers echoing off the stone walls. When she reached the bottom of the stairs, she found herself in a small, dimly lit chamber. In the center of the room was an old, wooden table covered in dust and cobwebs. On the table lay a collection of artifacts, a tarnished silver locket, a faded photograph, and a small, ornate box. Lily approached the table, her eyes drawn to the locket. It was identical to the one she had found in the upstairs room, and she felt a strange connection to it. As she reached out to touch the locket, the whispers grew louder, filling the room with their mournful cries. She could feel the pain and sorrow of the spirits, their desperate need for closure. The shadows in the room seemed to close in around her, and she could see the faint outlines of figures moving in the darkness. "Lily, free us," the voices seemed to echo in her mind, urging her to act. She opened the small box on the table and found a key inside. It was old and ornate, with intricate designs carved into the metal. She knew instinctively that it was the key to the heart of the curse. With the key in hand, Lily felt a renewed sense of determination. She had come this far, and she was not about to turn back now. She would uncover the truth behind the manor's history and free the spirits that were trapped within its walls. She would break the curse and bring peace to Isabella and Damien. As she made her way back up the stairs, the whispers began to fade, replaced by a sense of calm and resolve. She knew the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but she was ready to face whatever horrors the manor held. She would not rest until the curse was broken and the spirits were free. Back in the warmth of the study, Lily's fingers traced the edges of the old diary. She felt the weight of its history, the emotions of its author, and the significance of its contents. The whispers had subsided, leaving an almost oppressive silence. With the key she had found downstairs safely tucked away, she settled into an armchair by the fire and opened the diary to read more of Isabella's story. July 2nd, 1852. Today was the happiest day of my life. Damien and I shared a secret picnic by the river, far from the prying eyes of my father and his spies. We talked of our dreams, of a future where we could be together without fear. I could see the passion in his eyes, and I knew our love was stronger than any obstacle. Yet, a shadow hangs over us, and I fear what my father will do if he discovers our plans. As Lily read, she could almost feel the joy and fear that Isabella experienced. The bond between Isabella and Damien was palpable, their love a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness. Each entry brought them closer, and with each word, Lily felt a deeper connection to their story. August 15, 1852. The blood moon will rise tonight, and with it, our hopes for a new life. Damien has secured safe passage for us, and we plan to leave just before midnight. I can hardly contain my excitement, but there is a gnawing fear in my heart. My father's anger knows no bounds, and I fear he will stop at nothing to keep us apart. I pray that love will triumph over hate, and that we will finally be free. Lily's heart ached for Isabella and Damien. Their love was so pure, yet so doomed by the circumstances of their time. She could see the parallels between their story and her own journey. The manor had drawn her in, entwining her fate with theirs. She felt a growing sense of responsibility to see their story through to its end. As she turned the page, a small, folded note fell out from between the yellowed sheets. It was a letter, written in a hurried hand, and signed by Damien. My dearest Isabella, as the blood moon rises, my heart is filled with hope and fear. Hope for our future together, and fear of the forces that conspire against us. If we do not make it, if fate is cruel and we are torn apart, know that my love for you will transcend death itself. I will find you, no matter the obstacles. Our souls are bound together, and nothing can sever that bond. Yours forever, Damien. Tears welled up in Lily's eyes as she read Damien's heartfelt words. Their love had endured even beyond death, their souls bound to the manor by a curse that had robbed them of their future. She felt a profound connection to them, as if she had been chosen to witness their story and bring it to a close. Lily closed the diary, her mind racing with thoughts and emotions. The whispers and shadows, the hidden rooms and cryptic messages, all pointed to a destiny she had yet to fully understand. But one thing was clear: she was a part of this story now, a bridge between the past and the present, determined to honor the love of Isabella and Damien. Lily knew she had to find the heart of the curse and put an end to the suffering that had haunted the manor for centuries. She felt the weight of their legacy on her shoulders, and with it, a newfound strength. As the night deepened, she sat by the fire, the diary in her lap, and stared into the flames. The connection between her and the past was undeniable, and she vowed to see their love story through to its rightful conclusion. For in their love, she saw a reflection of her own heart's deepest desires, a love that could conquer even death itself. With renewed resolve, Lily knew that she was ready to face the darkness, uncover the truth, and set the spirits free. The manor's secrets were unraveling, and she was determined to be the one to break the curse and bring peace to the souls of Isabella and Damien. The fire's glow flickered softly as Lily fell into a restless sleep, the diary still cradled in her arms. That night, her dreams were more vivid than ever before. She found herself transported back in time, standing in the midst of Isabella's life. Lily was in a sunlit meadow, the air filled with the scent of wildflowers and the distant sound of a babbling brook. She saw Isabella, a young woman with flowing dark hair and a radiant smile, running towards a tall, handsome man. It was Damien. The joy in their eyes as they embraced was palpable, and Lily felt her heart swell with their love. The dream shifted, and Lily was in the grand ballroom of the manor, watching Isabella twirl gracefully in Damien's arms. The room was filled with laughter and music, but a shadow lurked in the corner. Lily's gaze followed Isabella's father, his eyes cold and calculating as he watched the couple. A sense of dread washed over her, and she knew that their happiness was fleeting. The scene changed again, and Lily was in Isabella's bedroom. Isabella was writing in her diary, her expression a mixture of hope and fear. Lily felt the urgency of the moment, the weight of their impending escape. She wanted to reach out, to warn Isabella of the danger that awaited them, but she was merely a silent observer. Suddenly, the dream turned dark. Lily was in the forest, under the eerie glow of the blood moon. She saw Isabella and Damien running hand in hand, their breaths ragged with fear. The shadows seemed to come alive, closing in around them. Isabella's father emerged from the darkness, his face twisted with rage. A flash of light, and Damien was on the ground, blood pooling beneath him. Isabella's scream pierced the night, a sound of utter despair that echoed through Lily's soul. Lily jolted awake, her heart pounding and tears streaming down her face. The room was cold, the fire long since extinguished. She felt a deep ache in her chest, the pain of a love torn apart by cruelty and hatred. The dream had felt so real, as if she had been there, living Isabella's memories. As she sat up, she noticed a figure standing in the doorway. It was Ethan. His expression was grave, his eyes filled with concern. "Are you all right?" he asked softly. Lily nodded, wiping away her tears. "I had a dream about Isabella and Damien. It was so real, Ethan. I could feel their love, their fear, their pain." Ethan stepped into the room and sat beside her. "The manor has a way of reaching into your soul," he said gently. "It's part of the curse. The spirits are trying to communicate with you, to show you what happened and why they can't move on." Lily looked into Ethan's eyes and felt an inexplicable connection to him. There was something about him that felt familiar, comforting. "Why do I feel like I know you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ethan took her hand, his touch sending a shiver through her. "We are connected, Lily. Just as Isabella and Damien were connected. Our destinies are intertwined with theirs." Lily's mind raced with questions, but before she could speak, the temperature in the room dropped suddenly. The air grew thick with an oppressive energy, and the whispers began again, louder and more urgent than before. "Help us, free us." The shadows in the room seemed to move, swirling around them. Lily clung to Ethan, her fear mixing with determination. "What do we do, Ethan? How do we break the curse?" Ethan squeezed her hand, his gaze unwavering. "We must find the heart of the curse. It's the source of the dark magic that binds the spirits. Only by destroying it can we set them free." Lily nodded, her resolve hardening. "Then we need to go to the basement. We need to find that room." Ethan stood, helping her to her feet. "We'll go together. But be careful, Lily. The spirits are growing more restless, and the manor will do everything it can to stop us." With Ethan by her side, Lily felt a surge of strength. The connection between them was undeniable, a bond that transcended time and space. She knew that their love, like Isabella and Damien's, would be their greatest weapon against the darkness that haunted the manor. As they made their way to the basement, the whispers grew louder, the shadows more menacing. But Lily was no longer afraid. She was determined to uncover the truth, to break the curse, and to bring peace to the souls of Isabella and Damien. And with Ethan by her side, she knew they would succeed. The village was alive with activity as the blood moon approached. Lanterns adorned with crimson ribbons lined the streets, casting a warm, eerie glow that flickered in the twilight. The air was filled with the hum of excitement and a tinge of apprehension. The Blood Moon Festival, an ancient celebration steeped in folklore and tradition, was about to begin. Lily and Ethan walked through the village square, observing the preparations. Stalls were set up with vibrant displays of flowers and candles, and the villagers bustled about, preparing offerings and decorations. The festival was a blend of celebration and solemn remembrance, a time to honor the spirits of the past. Despite the festive atmosphere, Lily could sense an undercurrent of fear among the villagers. They whispered among themselves, their eyes darting towards the manor as if expecting something to happen. The legend of the blood moon was well known, and its significance was deeply ingrained in the village's culture. The blood moon, Ethan explained as they walked, is said to be a time when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. The spirits of the deceased are believed to be stronger and more active. It's why the festival is both a celebration and a caution. Lily nodded, absorbing the information. So, it's not just a festival. It's a time when the spirits are more powerful. Exactly, Ethan said. The legends say that the blood moon can amplify the curse's power. If Isabella and Damien's spirits are bound to the manor, this could be the moment when they become most restless and influential. As they continued through the village, they saw a group of villagers setting up a large bonfire in the center of the square. The fire was meant to ward off malevolent spirits and provide light during the darkest night of the year. It was surrounded by offerings of food, flowers, and other items intended to appease the spirits. Lily's thoughts were a whirlwind of concern and determination. She knew that the blood moon would make their task more challenging, but it also meant that the time to break the curse was fast approaching. The festival's preparations, while festive, only heightened her sense of urgency. As dusk fell and the first hints of the blood moon began to appear in the sky, Lily and Ethan made their way back to the manor. The night was thick with anticipation, and the moon's red hue cast an otherworldly glow over the landscape. Inside the manor, the atmosphere was charged with tension. The whispers grew louder and more frantic, and the shadows seemed to move of their own accord. Lily and Ethan prepared to descend into the basement, armed with the key and a sense of purpose. Before they began their descent, Ethan took Lily's hand. "We need to be careful. The manor will try to stop us, and the spirits will be at their most powerful tonight." Lily squeezed his hand in return. "I'm ready. We need to do this for Isabella and Damien, and for the peace of the manor." With the blood moon rising high in the sky, casting its eerie light over the manor, Lily and Ethan made their way to the basement. The manor seemed to groan and shift around them, as if it were alive and aware of their intentions. The walls were lined with strange symbols that glowed faintly in the moonlight, adding to the sense of foreboding. As they reached the basement door, the temperature plummeted, and a cold wind swept through the corridor. The whispers became a cacophony of voices, filling the air with their desperate pleas. Lily took a deep breath and inserted the key into the lock. It turned with a satisfying click, and the door creaked open, revealing the hidden chamber beyond. The room was bathed in the red light of the blood moon, its beams streaming through a small, high window. In the center of the room stood an ancient altar, covered in dust and cobwebs. The air was thick with dark energy, and the sense of malevolence was almost tangible. Lily and Ethan stepped into the room, their eyes scanning the altar and the surrounding area. The heart of the curse was somewhere in this room, and they needed to find it quickly before the blood moon's power grew too strong. As they began their search, the whispers intensified, becoming almost deafening. Shadows swirled around them, and the temperature dropped even further. The room felt as if it were closing in on them, the oppressive energy nearly overwhelming. Lily's heart raced as she searched the altar. She could feel the presence of the spirits more strongly now, their emotions a turbulent mix of longing and anger. The connection to Isabella and Damien was stronger than ever, and she knew that she was on the brink of discovering the truth. The blood moon's light cast eerie patterns on the walls, and Lily felt a deep sense of urgency. The time to break the curse was now, before the spirit's power grew too strong and the manor's malevolence overwhelmed them. As Lily and Ethan continued their search, the fate of Isabella, Damien, and the manor hung in the balance, and the blood moon's influence loomed large over their quest. The blood moon hung like a fiery omen in the sky, its light casting an ethereal glow over the manor. Lily and Ethan continued their search in the hidden chamber, their eyes scanning every inch of the room for any clue that might lead them to the heart of the curse. As they worked together, the atmosphere between them began to shift, and a connection formed that went beyond their shared mission. Lily noticed the way Ethan's presence seemed to calm her, how his touch lingered just a moment longer than necessary. They exchanged glances that spoke of unspoken understanding and mutual concern. In the midst of the chaos and danger, their growing closeness provided a small solace, a flicker of warmth in an otherwise cold and oppressive environment. "Have you found anything?" Ethan asked, his voice low as he moved closer to her. Lily shook her head, her eyes still fixed on the altar. "Not yet. But we have to be getting close." As they continued their search, Lily began to notice strange occurrences. Objects seemed to move on their own, shadows flitted across the walls with no apparent source, and the temperature fluctuated wildly. At first, she attributed it to the intensity of the blood moon's power, but as the night wore on, the disturbances grew more pronounced. One evening, as they worked together in the dimly lit chamber, Lily felt a sudden chill and saw a shadow dart across the corner of her eye. She turned to find Ethan's gaze fixed intently on her, a strange intensity in his eyes. "Are you all right?" Lily asked, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling that had settled in her stomach. Ethan hesitated before replying, "Just keep your focus on the task. We can't afford any distractions." Lily couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The way Ethan's demeanor had changed, coupled with the strange happenings around them, made her uneasy. She needed to know more, to understand the full extent of what they were dealing with. Later that night, after Ethan had left the chamber for a brief moment, Lily decided to explore the room further on her own. Her instincts told her that there was more to Ethan than met the eye. She rummaged through the desk and drawers, looking for anything that might shed light on his true nature. In a hidden compartment beneath the desk, she found a small, leather-bound book. It was old and worn, with a lock that had clearly been tampered with. She pried it open with trembling fingers, revealing a series of dark, cryptic notes and drawings. As she read through the pages, her blood ran cold. The book detailed rituals and incantations related to necromancy and dark magic. There were references to the very curse they were trying to break, along with disturbing notes about binding and controlling spirits. But the most shocking revelation was a name she had seen before, Ethan's. The book contained a ritual that seemed to bind the user to the spirits they sought to control. It mentioned sacrifices and the manipulation of dark forces to maintain power over the souls trapped in the manor. It became clear that Ethan had been deeply involved in the very curse they were trying to dispel. Heart pounding, Lily confronted Ethan when he returned to the chamber. "Ethan, I need to know the truth. What are you hiding from me?" Ethan's face went pale as he saw the book in her hands. He took a deep breath, clearly struggling with how to explain himself. "Lily, I didn't want you to find that. I thought I could keep it from you until this was over." "Keep what from me?" Lily's voice trembled with a mix of fear and anger. Ethan took a step closer, his eyes filled with a mixture of regret and desperation. "I was involved in the creation of the curse. I was part of the ritual that bound Isabella and Damien's souls to the manor. I sought power and knowledge beyond what I could control, and it cost me dearly." Lily stared at him, her heart aching as she struggled to reconcile the man she had come to care for with the dark truths she had uncovered. "But why are you helping me now? What's your true goal?" Ethan's expression softened, and he reached out to take her hand. "I regret what I've done. I've been trying to atone for my actions, to undo the damage I caused. I'm helping you because I want to make things right, to free the spirits and end the curse once and for all. I know I don't deserve your trust, but I'm asking you to give me a chance to prove that I can change." Lily looked into Ethan's eyes, seeing the pain and sincerity there. Despite the dark secrets and the haunting revelations, she couldn't deny the bond they had formed. The connection between them was real, and she could see that Ethan was genuinely remorseful for his past actions. "I need to think," Lily said quietly, pulling her hand away. "This is a lot to process." Ethan nodded, his eyes filled with understanding. "I understand. Take all the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready to continue." As Lily retreated to the far corner of the chamber, her mind was a whirlwind of emotions. The truth about Ethan had shaken her, but it also fueled her resolve. She needed to find a way to break the curse and free the spirits, even if it meant confronting the darkest aspects of their past. The blood moon's light continued to cast its red glow over the manor, and Lily knew that time was running out. She had to stay focused on their mission, despite the dangerous attraction that had developed between her and Ethan. The fate of Isabella, Damien, and the manor hung in the balance, and she was determined to see it through to the end. The manor was cloaked in an oppressive silence as Lily and Ethan retreated to the study. The weight of Ethan's confession hung heavily between them, casting a shadow over their resolve. Despite the revelations and the growing tension, Lily knew that their mission remained clear. They needed to break the curse. As the blood moon cast its eerie red light over the manor, Lily turned to the diary once more, her fingers tracing the faded ink. She had spent hours poring over the old entries, seeking any clues that might lead them to the solution. Her heart pounded with anticipation as she came across a passage detailing a ritual that could potentially break the curse. September 3, 1852. Tonight is the night of the blood moon, and we have prepared everything for the final ritual. This is our last chance to break free from the chains that bind us. We must perform the ritual in the heart of the manor, where the power of the curse is strongest. Only by invoking the ancient incantations and offering our purest intentions can we hope to free ourselves from the darkness. The passage outlined a series of steps to perform the ritual, including the use of specific items and a series of incantations. It was clear that the ritual required precise timing and an understanding of the ancient magic that had been used to bind the spirits. Lily's determination hardened as she read through the details. Despite the risks, she knew that this was their best chance to end the suffering that had plagued the manor for centuries. The ritual was their only hope of breaking the curse and freeing the spirits of Isabella and Damien. "Ethan, I found the ritual," Lily said, her voice steady. "We need to perform it tonight. The blood moon is our only chance." Ethan looked at her with a mixture of concern and resolve. "Are you sure? The ritual is dangerous, and we don't fully understand its effects. There's a risk that it could backfire or cause more harm." "I understand the risks," Lily replied, her gaze unwavering. "But we can't let fear stop us. We have to try. The spirits need our help, and we need to put an end to this curse." Ethan sighed, clearly torn between his fears and his desire to help. "All right. If you're determined, I'll help you. We need to gather the items and perform the ritual in the heart of the manor, as the diary describes." They spent the next hour gathering the necessary items: a bowl of salt, a vial of sacred water, a lit candle, and an old, intricately carved dagger. The ritual required these items to be placed in a specific arrangement, and they meticulously set up the altar according to the instructions. As the blood moon reached its zenith, Lily and Ethan made their way to the center of the manor, where the ritual was to be performed. The grand hall, bathed in the red light of the moon, seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. They set up the altar in the middle of the hall, arranging the items as the diary instructed. The salt was spread in a circle around the altar, the candle was placed in the center, and the vial of sacred water was positioned beside it. The dagger was set at the edge of the circle, its blade glinting ominously in the moonlight. Lily took a deep breath, her heart racing with a mixture of fear and determination. "We need to begin. Follow the incantations exactly as they are written." Ethan nodded, his expression serious. "I'll do my best. We have to stay focused." With the preparations complete, Lily began the ritual by lighting the candle and reciting the ancient incantations from the diary. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke the words, but she forced herself to remain steady. The ritual was a delicate balance of ancient magic and pure intent, and any misstep could have dire consequences. As she spoke the final words of the incantation, the air around them seemed to shimmer, and a strange energy filled the room. The temperature dropped sharply, and the shadows in the hall grew darker, more restless. The whispers of the spirits grew louder, their voices a mix of desperation and hope. Suddenly, the candle flickered violently, and the shadows began to move in erratic patterns. Lily and Ethan stood together, their hands clasped as they chanted the final lines of the ritual. The dagger glowed with an otherworldly light, and the salt circle seemed to pulse with a rhythmic energy. The air crackled with tension as the ritual reached its climax. Lily could feel the presence of the spirits all around them, their energy a powerful force that surged through the manor. She focused on the task at hand, her thoughts fixed on freeing Isabella and Damien from their torment. As the last words of the incantation left her lips, a brilliant flash of light erupted from the altar, illuminating the entire hall. The light was blinding, and Lily had to shield her eyes as the energy surged around them. When the light faded and the room returned to its eerie red glow, the oppressive atmosphere seemed to lift. The whispers had ceased, and the shadows had receded, leaving the manor in a profound silence. Lily and Ethan stood in the center of the hall, their breaths coming in ragged gasps. The ritual had been completed, and the air felt lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted. But they knew that the true test of their success would come with time. They would need to wait and see if the curse had been broken and if Isabella and Damien's spirits were finally at peace. For now, as the blood moon began to wane and the first light of dawn began to break through the windows, Lily and Ethan looked at each other with a sense of exhausted relief. The ritual had been performed, and they had done everything in their power to end the curse. The future was uncertain, but they had faced the darkness together, and that was a victory in itself. As dawn's early light filtered through the windows, bathing the manor in a soft, golden hue, Lily and Ethan sat in the grand hall, their exhaustion palpable. The ritual was complete, but the atmosphere was still charged with an uneasy silence. They were hopeful but wary, waiting to see if the curse had truly been lifted. Lily's thoughts were tangled with the events of the previous night, the ritual, Ethan's confession, and the growing connection between them. Despite the clarity she felt in her resolve, there was still a lingering unease about Ethan. The revelations from the diary and their shared experience weighed heavily on her mind. As the sun continued its ascent, Ethan stood up and walked to a nearby window, looking out over the now peaceful village. His demeanor was distant, and Lily could sense a deep melancholy in him that had nothing to do with the fatigue of the night's events. Ethan, Lily began softly, there's something I need to understand. After everything that's happened, I feel like there's still a piece of the puzzle missing. I need to know who you truly are. Ethan turned to her, his eyes filled with a complex mixture of emotions. He took a deep breath, as if steeling himself to reveal a long-buried truth. There's something I haven't told you, something I've been hiding from everyone, including myself. Lily's heart skipped a beat. What is it? Ethan walked to the center of the room, his expression solemn. You deserve to know the truth. I am not who you think I am. I am the reincarnation of Damien, the man who was cursed alongside Isabella. Lily's eyes widened in shock. Damien? But how is that possible? Ethan's voice was tinged with sadness. When Isabella and I were bound by the curse, our souls were trapped in a cycle of rebirth, doomed to relive our suffering through the ages. Each time we were reborn, we were separated and never able to fully escape the torment of our past lives. Lily's mind raced as she tried to comprehend the gravity of Ethan's revelation. But why are you here now? What is your purpose? Ethan looked down, his expression filled with regret. For centuries, I've lived through countless lifetimes, always searching for Isabella, always trying to make amends for the wrongs I committed. Each life has been marked by the same longing and the same curse. My presence here in the manor was not by chance, it was a part of the curse's design. Lily felt a pang of sympathy for Ethan, her heart aching at the thought of his eternal suffering. So, all this time, you've been trapped in this cycle, never truly free? Ethan nodded. Yes. The curse has kept me bound to this place, to this unfinished business. When I learned of the ritual that could break the curse, I hoped that it would give me a chance to finally find peace. Lily approached Ethan, her expression softening. But why didn't you tell me sooner? Why keep this a secret? Ethan's gaze met hers, filled with a mixture of pain and hope. I didn't want to burden you with the truth. I thought that if I could help you break the curse, I might finally find the redemption I've been seeking. I was afraid that revealing my identity would make things more complicated, that you might not trust me or that it could jeopardize our chances of success. Lily reached out and took Ethan's hand, her heart full of empathy. Ethan, despite everything, I still care about you. We've been through so much together, and I believe in our ability to break this curse. Ethan squeezed her hand gently, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Thank you, Lily. Your belief in me means more than you know. But the curse is still not fully lifted. There are still lingering remnants of dark magic that need to be dealt with. As they stood together, the weight of Ethan's confession seemed to shift. The connection they had forged through their trials was now intertwined with the complex tapestry of their past lives. They both knew that their journey was far from over. There must be something we can do, Lily said determinedly. We can't let this curse continue to hold you captive. Ethan nodded, his expression resolute. There is one final step we need to take. The diary mentioned a place, the heart of the curse, where the dark magic is most concentrated. If we can find and destroy the source of the curse, we might finally be able to free ourselves from this eternal cycle. Lily and Ethan prepared to embark on their final quest, their resolve strengthened by their shared understanding and commitment. The manor, once a place of fear and darkness, now held the promise of resolution and peace. As they made their way through the manor, the first light of day casting a hopeful glow over their path, Lily couldn't help but feel that their journey was leading them toward a new beginning. With Ethan by her side, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The true test of their mission was yet to come, and they knew that they would face whatever challenges lay ahead together. The curse that had bound Ethan and Isabella for centuries was on the verge of being broken, and with their combined strength and unwavering resolve, they were ready to face the final confrontation and bring peace to the troubled spirits of the manor. The sun had risen fully, casting a gentle light over the manor's halls. The atmosphere was charged with an uneasy calm as Lily and Ethan prepared for their final quest to break the curse. They had spent the morning gathering their strength and resolving to confront the heart of the curse once and for all. As they moved through the grand hall, a sudden chill swept through the room, causing Lily to shiver despite the warmth of the day. The temperature plummeted abruptly, and a ghostly mist began to form in the center of the room. Ethan's face grew tense, and he took a protective step closer to Lily. Before their eyes, the mist coalesced into a figure, a spectral woman dressed in a flowing gown of an era long past. Her face was pale, her eyes filled with a deep sadness. It was Isabella, the spirit they had heard so much about. Lily's breath caught in her throat as she recognized the apparition. Isabella, she whispered, her voice trembling with awe and fear. Isabella's ghostly form shimmered as she moved closer, her eyes locking onto Lily's with a mixture of relief and sorrow. You have come to help us, she said, her voice a haunting melody that seemed to echo through the ages. I am Isabella, and my heart is heavy with the weight of centuries of pain. Ethan stood beside Lily, his expression a mix of anguish and hope. Isabella, we've been trying to break the curse. We need to know more about what happened and how we can finally free you and Damien. Isabella nodded slowly, her gaze shifting between Lily and Ethan. The curse that binds us was born of love and betrayal. Damien and I were once deeply in love, but our happiness was marred by a cruel twist of fate. We were to be married, but our union was thwarted by the machinations of those who envied our love. Her spectral form seemed to waver with the emotion of the memories. On the eve of our wedding, I was betrayed by someone I trusted. I was falsely accused of a crime, and Damien was cursed to suffer the consequences. The curse bound our souls to this manor, trapping us in an endless cycle of separation and despair. Lily listened intently, her heart aching for the tragic love story that had unfolded centuries ago. How did the curse come to be? What was its purpose? Isabella's eyes filled with tears that seemed to fall as mist. The curse was cast by a powerful sorcerer who sought to punish Damien for his defiance. It was meant to keep us apart for all eternity, to ensure that our love could never bring us peace. The manor was chosen as the vessel for the curse, its walls holding the essence of our torment. Ethan stepped forward, his voice filled with anguish. Isabella, the ritual we performed was meant to break the curse, but there are still remnants of dark magic. How can we ensure that the curse is truly lifted? Isabella's gaze softened as she looked at Ethan. There is one final act that must be completed to cleanse the curse completely. You must confront the heart of the curse, the source of the dark magic that binds our souls. Only by destroying it will the curse be broken and our spirits finally set free. Lily felt a surge of determination. Where can we find this heart of the curse? Isabella extended her translucent hand toward the manor's grand staircase. It lies deep within the manor, in a hidden chamber that was sealed away long ago. You will need to search for it and destroy the source of the curse. Only then will my spirit, and Damien's, find the peace we have longed for. Lily nodded, her resolve firm. We will do everything we can to end this. We won't stop until you and Damien are free. Isabella's form began to fade, her voice a soft whisper carried by the wind. Thank you, dear souls. Your compassion and bravery have given us hope. May you find the strength to complete this final task. As Isabella's spirit vanished, the chill in the room lifted, leaving Lily and Ethan alone with the weight of their newfound knowledge. The path forward was clear, and their purpose was more urgent than ever. Ethan looked at Lily, his expression resolute. We have to find that hidden chamber and destroy the heart of the curse. It's the only way to free Isabella, Damien, and ourselves from this cycle. Lily nodded, determination shining in her eyes. Let's go. We have no time to waste. With a renewed sense of purpose, Lily and Ethan began their search of the manor, following Isabella's guidance and their own intuition. The journey ahead would be their final test, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay before them. As they moved through the manor's corridors, their resolve was unwavering. They knew that the heart of the curse was within their reach, and they were determined to see their mission through to the end. The fate of the manor and the spirits trapped within it rested on their shoulders, and they were prepared to confront the darkness and bring peace to the tormented souls that had suffered for far too long. The manor's corridors seemed to stretch endlessly as Lily and Ethan navigated through its shadowy depths, their footsteps echoing off the cold stone walls. The revelation of Isabella's tragic past had deepened their connection, and now, as they moved forward in their quest to break the curse, the weight of their own emotions grew heavier. The manor, once a place of dread, now felt like a labyrinth of secrets waiting to be uncovered. The grand staircase led them to a series of hidden passageways and forgotten rooms, each more enigmatic than the last. Lily and Ethan's determination was unwavering, but the journey was taking a toll on them both. Amidst the search, they found themselves in a secluded, dimly lit room. The atmosphere was thick with the remnants of past sorrow, and the oppressive silence seemed to speak of lost hope. They paused, taking a moment to catch their breath and gather their thoughts. Lily turned to Ethan, her heart aching as she looked at him. "Ethan, do you ever feel like our own story mirrors Isabella and Damien's? We've faced so much together, and our bond is growing stronger despite the dangers." Ethan's gaze met hers, his eyes reflecting a mixture of longing and sadness. "I've felt it too. Our love, like theirs, has been tested by trials and circumstances beyond our control. We've been drawn together by forces we can't fully understand, and yet, we've managed to find something genuine amidst the darkness." The connection between them was undeniable. Their shared experiences and the emotional journey they had undertaken had forged a bond that went beyond mere attraction. It was a bond marked by mutual respect, deep understanding, and a shared sense of purpose. Ethan took Lily's hand in his voice soft but filled with resolve. "Lily, we're facing the same curse that doomed Isabella and Damien. If we're to break it, we must do so with the same strength and conviction that they sought for their own love." Lily nodded, her heart swelling with emotion. "I agree. Our love, though forbidden by the circumstances of our situation, is real. We must face this together and break the curse, not only for the spirits trapped here but also for ourselves." Their hands remained clasped as they continued their search, their hearts united by a shared purpose. The manor seemed to recognize their commitment, as the path ahead became clearer and the oppressive atmosphere began to lift. After what felt like hours of navigating through hidden passages and forgotten rooms, they finally arrived at a secluded chamber at the heart of the manor. The chamber was shrouded in darkness, and the air was thick with the residual energy of the curse that in the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested an ancient, ornate box. The box was inscribed with symbols and runes that seemed to pulse with a dark, malevolent energy. It was clear that this was the heart of the curse, the source of the dark magic that had bound Isabella and Damien's souls for centuries. Lily and Ethan approached the pedestal, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. The weight of their mission was now more tangible than ever, and they knew that their actions would determine the fate of the spirits and their own future. Ethan took a deep breath, his hand gripping Lily's tightly. "We need to destroy this box to break the curse. But we must be careful. The magic is powerful, and any misstep could have dire consequences." Lily nodded, her expression resolute. "We'll do this together. Our love and our determination will guide us through." They carefully opened the box, revealing a dark, swirling energy that seemed to writhe and shift within. The curse was alive, a tangible force that fought against their efforts. Lily and Ethan knew that they had to channel their love and strength into this final act. With the ancient incantations from the diary in hand, they began the process of destroying the heart of the curse. The ritual required them to focus their intentions and energy on purging the dark magic from the box. As they chanted the incantations, their combined willpower seemed to resonate with the energy of the manor. The dark energy within the box began to intensify, swirling violently as if resisting their efforts. Lily and Ethan stood their ground, their hands clasped tightly, their voices rising in a powerful crescendo. The force of their love and determination created a protective barrier around them, shielding them from the chaotic energy. As the final words of the incantation left their lips, a blinding light erupted from the box. The dark energy was engulfed by the light, dissipating into a brilliant, purifying radiance. The oppressive atmosphere of the manor lifted, and the chilling presence that had haunted them seemed to fade away. The chamber was filled with a sense of peace and tranquility that had been absent for centuries. The curse had been broken, and the dark magic that had bound Isabella and Damien's souls was finally destroyed. Lily and Ethan stood together, their hearts full of relief and hope. As the light began to fade, they felt a profound sense of closure and liberation. The spirits of Isabella and Damien were finally free, and the manor was no longer a place of torment. Lily turned to Ethan, her eyes filled with gratitude and love. "We did it. The curse is broken, and Isabella and Damien can finally rest in peace." Ethan smiled, his expression a mix of relief and affection. "Yes, we did it together. Our love has triumphed over the darkness, and we found a way to break the cycle." As they left the chamber and walked through the manor, the oppressive energy that had once dominated the space was replaced by a newfound sense of calm. The manor, once a symbol of suffering, now felt like a place of healing and renewal. Lily and Ethan stood together, their love strengthened by their shared journey. The challenges they had faced and the sacrifices they had made had forged a bond that was unbreakable. Their story, like Isabella and Damien's, had been marked by trials and tribulations, but it had also been defined by the power of their love. As they stepped out into the light of a new day, they knew that their journey was far from over. The curse had been broken, but their own path was just beginning. Together, they faced the future with hope and a renewed sense of purpose, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead and to build a new life free from the shadows of the past. The manor, now bathed in the soft light of dawn, felt like a different place entirely. The heavy presence that had once suffused its halls was gone, replaced by an air of tranquility that hinted at the peace that had been restored. Lily and Ethan, still in the aftermath of breaking the curse, felt a deep sense of accomplishment but also an unshakable curiosity about the full history of the curse they had just undone. In the heart of the manor, they found themselves back in the study where their journey had begun. The diary had been their guide through the dark history, but now they needed to understand the full scope of the betrayal and dark magic that had wrought so much suffering. Lily carefully opened the old, leather-bound diary once more. The pages were worn, but they still held the secrets of the curse. As she flipped through the entries, she came across a section that detailed the origins of the curse in vivid detail. "Ethan, look at this," Lily said, pointing to a passage. "This entry seems to explain more about the betrayal and the dark magic involved." Ethan moved closer, his eyes scanning the text. "This could provide the answers we need about why Isabella and Damien's love was cursed." The passage described a wealthy and influential family in the village who had long coveted the power and influence of Isabella and Damien. Their love was a beacon of hope and joy in a society rife with jealousy and greed. The family's patriarch, a powerful sorcerer named Alastair Blackwood, had been especially envious of their happiness. April 14, 1852. Alastair Blackwood, a man of dark desires and even darker magic, had long coveted the happiness and prosperity of others. When he learned of Isabella and Damien's love, he was consumed by jealousy. In his mind, their love was a threat to his own power and influence. Driven by his envy and a desire for control, Alastair sought to destroy their happiness. He crafted a powerful curse, one that would bind their souls together in eternal torment. The curse was designed to ensure that they would never find peace, their love forever tainted by suffering. The diary continued, revealing the specifics of the dark magic used to create the curse. Alastair had performed a ritual in the dead of night, harnessing the malevolent forces of the blood moon to bind Isabella and Damien's souls. The ritual had involved an intricate blend of forbidden magic and arcane symbols, and its effects were amplified by the dark energies of the manor. The ritual was conducted in secrecy, deep within the manor's hidden chambers. Alastair summoned dark entities and channeled their energy into a cursed artifact, which became the heart of the enchantment. This artifact was designed to trap their souls and prevent them from ever escaping the torment of their fate. Lily's eyes widened as she read the details. So, the artifact we destroyed was the heart of the curse. It was created by Alastair Blackwood to imprison Isabella and Damien's souls. Ethan nodded grimly. Yes, and the curse was intended to keep their love from flourishing. Alastair's dark magic ensured that they would never be free, bound to the manor and forced to relive their suffering through the ages. The diary also revealed the tragic end of Alastair Blackwood. Consumed by his own dark magic, Alastair had eventually lost control of the curse he had created. The power he had harnessed turned against him, and he was claimed by the very forces he had sought to control. His fate became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of wielding such malevolent power. In the end, Alastair Blackwood was consumed by the darkness he had unleashed. His fate was a reminder of the consequences of seeking to control the forces of the unknown. The manor became a place of torment, its halls echoing with the suffering of those bound by the curse. Lily closed the diary, her heart heavy with the weight of the history they had uncovered. So much pain and suffering, all because of one man's jealousy and ambition. Ethan's expression was a mixture of sadness and resolve. It's a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside in people's hearts. But now that the curse is broken, we can finally bring closure to the tragic story of Isabella and Damien. The sun shone through the study's windows, casting a warm, golden light over the room. The peaceful atmosphere was a stark contrast to the darkness that had once dominated the manor. Lily and Ethan stood together, their hearts united by the knowledge of the past and the hope for a brighter future. We've learned the full story now, Lily said softly. And we've managed to bring peace to Isabella and Damien. But we also need to remember the lessons of the past. The power of love and the consequences of dark magic. Ethan nodded, his gaze steady. Yes, we'll honor their memory by ensuring that the darkness of the past doesn't repeat itself. Our journey has taught us much about the nature of love, sacrifice, and the enduring power of hope. As they prepared to leave the manor, Lily and Ethan felt a profound sense of closure. The history of the curse had been unraveled, and the shadows of the past had been laid to rest. The manor, now free from the oppressive grip of dark magic, stood as a symbol of renewal and healing. Together, they stepped out into the light of a new day, ready to embrace the future with hope and a deep appreciation for the lessons they had learned. The dark past had been confronted, and the power of their love had triumphed over the darkness. The journey had been arduous, but it had led them to a place of understanding and peace, a place where they could build a new life free from the shadows of the past. The manor, now a place of calm and renewal, stood as a testament to the power of love and the triumph over darkness. Lily and Ethan had finally freed Isabella and Damien, and the curse that had plagued them for centuries was broken. Yet, as they prepared to leave the manor and start anew, they felt a nagging sense that their journey was not quite complete. The village surrounding the manor had always been shrouded in mystery, its inhabitants wary and distant. Lily and Ethan knew that the curse had been a powerful force, but they couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to uncover about the village's involvement. Determined to learn the full extent of the village's connection to the curse, Lily and Ethan set out to investigate the village's dark secrets. They ventured into the heart of the village, where narrow streets and aged buildings created a labyrinth of shadows and whispers. The village had a forlorn air, its once vibrant charm now overshadowed by the weight of its hidden past. As they walked through the village square, they noticed a sense of unease among the villagers. The once bustling marketplace was eerily quiet, and the few villagers who were out and about seemed to avoid eye contact, their expressions a mix of fear and suspicion. Lily and Ethan approached a small, dilapidated inn, its wooden sign creaking in the breeze. The innkeeper, an elderly woman named Mrs. Harper, greeted them with a wary glance. Her eyes were tired, and there was a heaviness in her demeanor that spoke of long-buried secrets. "Good day," Lily began, her voice friendly but firm. "We've recently uncovered some information about the manor and its history. We believe that the village might have played a role in the curse." Mrs. Harper's eyes widened, and she looked around nervously before nodding. "The village has its share of dark history, that's true. But speaking of it can be dangerous. The past has a way of creeping back up, even when we try to forget." Ethan leaned forward, his tone gentle but insistent. "We need to know the full truth. The curse has been broken, but there may be more to understand about its origins and the role the village played in it." Mrs. Harper sighed, her shoulders slumping as if weighed down by the burden of her memories. "Very well. It's time that the truth came to light. The village's involvement in the curse is a story of fear, betrayal, and a desperate attempt to control the forces we didn't fully understand." She began to recount the village's dark secrets, revealing that the villagers had been complicit in the creation of the curse. Fearful of losing their power and influence to Isabella and Damien, they had secretly aided Alistair Blackwood in his malevolent plans. Decades before the curse was cast, the village was plagued by internal strife and jealousy. The villagers were deeply envious of the love and prosperity that Isabella and Damien enjoyed. Alistair Blackwood, the sorcerer behind the curse, was not acting alone. He had the support of those who feared the power of love and sought to suppress it. The village elders, driven by their own greed and ambition, had offered their support to Alistair in exchange for protection and favor. They provided him with the resources and knowledge needed to perform the dark ritual that bound Isabella and Damien's souls. Their betrayal was fueled by a desire to maintain their own power, even at the cost of innocent lives. As Mrs. Harper spoke, Lily and Ethan's expressions grew darker. The village's complicity in the curse was a painful revelation, exposing the extent of the betrayal that had led to so much suffering. The village has been haunted by its own guilt, Mrs. Harper continued. The curse not only bound Isabella and Damien but also left a scar on the village. The people have lived in fear of the consequences of their actions, and the shadow of the curse has loomed over us ever since. Lily and Ethan listened in stunned silence, their minds racing with the implications of what they had learned. The village, once a place of mystery and unease, was now revealed to be a key player in the dark history they had uncovered. The villagers have suffered as well, Mrs. Harper said, her voice filled with a mix of sorrow and resignation. The curse has brought its own form of punishment. Those who aided in the curse have lived with the weight of their actions, and the village has been forever marked by its dark past. Lily felt a pang of empathy for the villagers, despite their involvement in the curse. The revelation of their guilt and suffering added another layer to the complex tapestry of the curse's history. We need to make sure that this history is acknowledged, Lily said firmly. The truth must be known so that the village can finally begin to heal from its past. Ethan nodded in agreement. The curse may have been broken, but the village's journey toward redemption is just beginning. We should work to ensure that the past is faced openly and honestly, so that the shadows of the past no longer control the future. As they left the inn, Lily and Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. The village's dark secrets had been exposed, and they were determined to help the community confront its past and find a path toward healing and redemption. The journey ahead would be challenging, but they were committed to ensuring that the lessons of the past were learned and that the village could finally move forward. The haunted village, once a place of darkness and secrecy, now stood on the precipice of change, ready to face the truth and embrace a new beginning. The manor, now a place of peace and renewal, held a different kind of tension as Lily and Ethan prepared for the final stage of their journey. The curse had been broken, but a new challenge awaited them, one that required a sacrifice to complete the ritual and ensure that the dark magic was truly eradicated. In the quiet of the early evening, as the sun set and cast long shadows over the manor, Lily and Ethan gathered in the study where they had spent countless hours deciphering the diary and unraveling the mysteries of the curse. The room was filled with the soft glow of candlelight, casting flickering shadows that danced on the walls. The diary had revealed the final piece of the puzzle. To fully cleanse the manor and ensure that the dark magic was gone forever, a final ritual was required. This ritual involved making a sacrifice, one that would require a profound and personal decision. Lily sat at the large oak desk, her fingers tracing the edges of the diary as she read the final entry. Her heart was heavy with the weight of the decision that lay before them. To complete the cleansing ritual and ensure that the dark magic is forever banished, a final sacrifice must be made. The sacrifice must be of great personal significance, and it is a choice that will test the strength of your bond and your willingness to face the ultimate cost. The sacrifice will seal the fate of the curse and ensure that the darkness cannot return. It is a choice that must be made with courage and love, for it will require one to give up something precious. Ethan joined Lily, his expression serious as he read the same passage. The weight of the decision pressed heavily upon him. We knew there would be challenges, but I never imagined we'd face something like this. Lily looked up, her eyes meeting Ethan's with a mix of fear and determination. "What do we do? How do we choose who will make the sacrifice?" Ethan's voice was steady but filled with emotion. "We have to think about what this sacrifice means. It's not just about completing the ritual, it's about making sure that the curse is truly gone and that the suffering ends." Lily took a deep breath, her mind racing as she considered their options. The diary doesn't specify what the sacrifice should be, only that it must be of great personal significance. It could be something symbolic, like a cherished possession, or it could be something more personal. Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "It's clear that this sacrifice needs to be meaningful, something that will signify our commitment to ending the curse and bringing peace to the spirits." As they discussed their options, the emotional weight of the decision became more apparent. The choice was not just about what was sacrificed, but about who would make the ultimate sacrifice. "We have to be honest with ourselves," Lily said, her voice trembling. "This is a test of our love and our willingness to face the ultimate cost. It could be that one of us needs to make this sacrifice." Ethan's eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and resolve. "I would do anything to ensure that the curse is truly broken and that we can move forward. But I also know that making this decision together is part of what will define us." The two of them spent hours in the study, weighing their options and discussing the implications of their choices. The emotional toll was immense, but they knew that they had to make a decision that would ensure the success of the ritual and bring about a lasting resolution to the darkness that had plagued the manor. Eventually, they reached a decision that they both felt was right. The sacrifice would be a symbolic one, a personal memento that held deep significance for each of them. This choice would allow them to complete the ritual without endangering their lives while still fulfilling the requirement of the sacrifice. They each selected an item that held great personal meaning. Lily chose a locket that had belonged to her mother, a symbol of love and family that she cherished deeply. Ethan selected a ring that had been passed down through his family for generations, a symbol of his own heritage and commitment. Together, they prepared for the final ritual. The items were placed on a pedestal in the center of the study, surrounded by candles and the ancient symbols from the diary. The ritual would involve a final act of dedication, in which the personal mementos would be offered as a symbol of their sacrifice and commitment. As they began the ritual, the atmosphere in the study became charged with energy. The dark magic that had once dominated the manor seemed to recede, replaced by a sense of light and clarity. The candles flickered brightly, casting a warm glow over the room. Lily and Ethan held hands, their hearts united in their resolve. The incantations from the diary were chanted with reverence, and the personal mementos were placed on the pedestal as a final act of sacrifice. The energy in the room swirled around them, and the symbols glowed with a purifying light. As the final words of the ritual were spoken, a wave of warmth and peace enveloped the study. The dark magic that had once threatened to consume them was finally dispelled, and the curse was truly broken. The sense of closure and resolution was profound, and the weight of the past was lifted. Lily and Ethan stood together, their hearts full of relief and gratitude. The final sacrifice had been made, not through a loss of life, but through a profound and symbolic gesture of love and commitment. The darkness that had plagued the manor and the village was now a thing of the past, and the path forward was clear. They embraced, their bond stronger than ever, and prepared to leave the manor behind. The journey had been arduous, but it had led them to a place of peace and renewal. The final sacrifice had been a testament to their love and their dedication to ending the suffering that had haunted them for so long. As they walked away from the manor, the sun setting behind them, Lily and Ethan felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The past had been faced, the curse had been broken, and they were ready to embrace a future filled with hope and possibility. The ultimate sacrifice had been made, and the shadows of the past had been replaced by the promise of a new beginning. The manor, now a symbol of peace and renewal, was not yet free from the echoes of its dark past. Despite the ritual's success in breaking the curse, an unsettling energy lingered in the air. As Lily and Ethan prepared to leave the manor and start their new life, they felt a mounting sense of unease. The spirits of the past, bound by dark magic, were not ready to let go without a final confrontation. It was a stormy night, the wind howling through the manor's halls as if forewarning the battle that was about to unfold. The once serene atmosphere was now charged with a restless energy. Shadows flickered ominously on the walls, and an eerie silence settled over the manor, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder. Lily and Ethan stood in the study, the room where their journey had begun. The once comforting glow of the candles now seemed to cast a foreboding light. The diary lay open on the desk, its pages revealing a new and urgent message. The final confrontation with the spirits of the past is imminent. To truly end the curse and ensure that peace is restored, you must face the battle between good and evil spirits. The strength of your love and your resolve will be tested in this final struggle. The message was clear: despite the ritual, the battle was not over. The dark spirits, once bound by the curse, were restless and intent on resisting the end of their dominion. Lily and Ethan knew they had to prepare for a fight that would test not only their strength but also the depth of their love. As they prepared for the confrontation, the temperature in the room dropped suddenly, and a gust of cold wind swept through the manor. The once flickering shadows on the walls began to coalesce into darker, more menacing forms. The spirits of the manor, both tormented and malevolent, began to manifest in the study. Ethan's eyes were filled with determination as he turned to Lily. "We need to face them together. Our love and our resolve are our greatest weapons." Lily nodded, her expression resolute. "We've come this far. We can't let the spirits of the past undo what we've achieved." The spirits of Isabella and Damien, their forms ethereal and sorrowful, appeared before them. Their eyes were filled with a mixture of hope and desperation. "You must confront the darkness," Isabella's spirit said, her voice a haunting whisper. "The evil spirits that remain are powerful and will not relinquish their hold easily." As Isabella and Damien's spirits faded, the malevolent entities of the curse emerged from the shadows. Their forms were twisted and ghastly, their presence an embodiment of the dark magic that had once bound the manor. They swirled around the room, their whispers a cacophony of malevolence and anger. Lily and Ethan stood their ground, holding hands and drawing strength from their bond. The diary's final instructions were clear: to defeat the evil spirits, they needed to harness the power of their love and the purity of their intentions. The battle began with an explosion of dark energy. The evil spirits launched their attack with a fury born of centuries of torment. Their cries filled the manor, a terrifying symphony of rage and despair. Lily and Ethan, their hearts united, focused on the strength of their love and the power of their shared resolve. Using the symbols from the diary and the energy from the ritual they had performed, they began to fight back. The symbols glowed with a bright light, cutting through the darkness and forcing the malevolent spirits back. The evil entities writhed and shrieked as the light pushed against them, their forms becoming more unstable and fragmented. Lily and Ethan chanted the incantations from the diary, their voices strong and steady. The words carried a force of purity and love that resonated through the manor, weakening the dark spirits. The room was filled with a blinding light as the power of their love and the ritual's energy combined to drive back the malevolent forces. The battle raged on, each moment a test of their strength and unity. The evil spirits fought fiercely, but Lily and Ethan's determination and love proved to be a powerful counterforce. As they fought, they felt the spirits of Isabella and Damien watching over them, their presence a guiding light in the struggle. The turning point in the battle came when Lily and Ethan, exhausted but unwavering, summoned the full power of their bond. They held their personal mementos high, the locket and the ring, symbols of their sacrifice and commitment. The light from these items merged with the energy of their love, creating a brilliant surge of purity that engulfed the room. The malevolent spirits, overwhelmed by the purity of the light and the strength of Lily and Ethan's love, began to dissipate. Their forms shattered and vanished, their cries fading into silence. The oppressive darkness that had once filled the manor was finally lifted, replaced by a profound sense of peace and tranquility. As the last of the dark spirits disappeared, the room grew still. The air was filled with a calming warmth, and the shadows that had once loomed ominously were now gone. Lily and Ethan, their breaths heavy but their spirits lifted, embraced each other. "We did it," Lily whispered, tears of relief and joy in her eyes. "The battle is over." Ethan held her close, his heart swelling with pride and love. "Yes, it's finally over. The darkness has been vanquished, and the curse is truly broken." The manor, once a place of torment and fear, now stood as a beacon of peace. The spirits of Isabella and Damien, finally free from their torment, had been instrumental in the victory. The love that had once been cursed had triumphed over the darkness, and the manor was now a symbol of redemption and renewal. As Lily and Ethan prepared to leave the manor behind, they knew that their journey had come to a triumphant end. The battle of spirits had tested them, but their love and resolve had prevailed. They stepped out into the night, ready to embrace their future and build a new life free from the shadows of the past. The manor, now a place of peace and light, would stand as a testament to the power of love and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The final battle had been fought and won, and the path forward was clear. The dawn of a new day broke over the manor, casting a warm and golden light through the windows. The storm that had raged through the night had cleared, leaving the air fresh and crisp. The manor, now a place of tranquility and renewal, was bathed in the gentle light of the morning sun. Lily and Ethan, exhausted but victorious, stood in the center of the study where their final battle had unfolded. The room, once filled with darkness and malevolent energy, now radiated a peaceful glow. The remnants of the dark spirits had vanished, and the oppressive atmosphere had been replaced by a sense of calm and serenity. As they looked around the room, they could feel the difference in the air. The weight of the curse that had bound the manor and its spirits for centuries had been lifted. The final battle had not only broken the curse but also restored a sense of balance and peace. In the quiet of the morning, the spirits of Isabella and Damien appeared before Lily and Ethan once more. Their forms were now luminous and serene, their faces etched with expressions of gratitude and relief. The torment that had once clouded their spirits had faded, replaced by a profound sense of peace. Isabella's spirit spoke softly, her voice filled with warmth. The curse is finally broken. We are free from the torment that has bound us for so long. Damien's spirit nodded, his eyes reflecting a deep sense of contentment. Your love and bravery have restored the balance. We can finally find the peace that has eluded us for centuries. Lily and Ethan looked at the spirits with a mixture of awe and relief. The final confrontation had been intense and challenging, but it had led to this moment of resolution and closure. Thank you, Lily said, her voice choked with emotion. We couldn't have done it without your guidance and support. Damien's spirit offered a gentle smile. It was your love and your determination that made this possible. You faced the darkness with courage and compassion, and that has brought about our liberation. As the spirits of Isabella and Damien began to fade, their forms becoming more ethereal, they looked at Lily and Ethan with one final, grateful glance. We are free now, Isabella said softly. And so are you. The curse has been lifted, and we can finally rest in peace. With a final, radiant glow, the spirits of Isabella and Damien vanished, leaving behind a profound sense of tranquility. The manor, once a place of darkness and despair, was now filled with light and hope. Lily and Ethan stood together, their hands clasped tightly as they took in the peaceful surroundings. The manor had been a place of trials and tribulations, but it had also been a place where their love had been tested and strengthened. We did it, Ethan said, his voice filled with wonder. The curse is truly broken. Lily nodded, her eyes shining with tears of joy. Yes, it is. And now we can move forward, knowing that we've brought peace to those who needed it most. As they prepared to leave the manor, they took one last look at the place that had been both their battleground and their sanctuary. The manor, now a symbol of redemption and renewal, would remain a part of their story, a testament to the power of love and the triumph over darkness. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had led them to this moment of peace. The broken curse had not only freed the spirits but had also allowed Lily and Ethan to embrace a future filled with hope and possibility. Hand in hand, they stepped out into the morning light, ready to begin a new chapter in their lives. The broken curse had marked the end of one journey and the beginning of another, a journey filled with love, healing, and the promise of a brighter future. As they walked away from the manor, the sun rising behind them, they felt a deep sense of fulfillment and gratitude. The darkness of the past had been vanquished, and the path ahead was clear. The curse was broken, and with it came the promise of a new beginning. The morning sun cast a golden hue over the landscape as Lily and Ethan prepared to leave the manor behind. The place that had once been a source of torment and darkness was now bathed in light, a testament to their victory and the breaking of the curse. With each step away from the manor, they felt a renewed sense of freedom and hope. Lily took a deep breath, savoring the crisp, fresh air. The weight of the past was finally lifted, and the promise of a new beginning lay before them. She looked at Ethan, her heart full of gratitude and love. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had led them to this moment of liberation and renewal. Ethan, his eyes reflecting the warmth of the morning sun, smiled at Lily. It feels like a new chapter is beginning, doesn't it? Lily nodded, her smile mirroring his. Yes, it does. We've faced so much together, and now we have a chance to build something beautiful from everything we've been through. The two of them loaded their belongings into a small, weathered car, the last remnants of their time at the manor. The car, though modest, symbolized their fresh start, a new journey that lay ahead of them. As they packed the final items, they reflected on the trials they had overcome and the strength they had discovered within themselves. With one last look at the manor, they said their silent farewells. The manor, now free from the shadows of its dark past, stood as a monument to their bravery and the power of their love. It would always hold a special place in their hearts, but they were ready to leave it behind and embrace their future. As they drove away from the manor, the landscape outside the car window transformed from the familiar surroundings of the village to the open roads of new possibilities. The journey ahead was uncharted, but it was theirs to explore together. Their first destination was a quaint cottage nestled in the countryside, a place far removed from the darkness of the past. The cottage, with its charming stone walls and blooming garden, represented the fresh start they both desired. It was a place where they could create new memories and build a life free from the shadows of their former struggles. The days that followed were filled with simple joys and shared moments of contentment. Lily and Ethan reveled in the tranquility of their new home, finding solace in the everyday routines of gardening, cooking, and enjoying each other's company. The cottage, with its cozy warmth and natural beauty, became a sanctuary where they could nurture their love and heal from their past experiences. They spent time decorating their new home, filling it with personal touches that reflected their journey and their hopes for the future. The locket and ring, symbols of their sacrifice and commitment, were placed in a special place where they could serve as a reminder of their triumph over adversity. The fresh start they had longed for was now a reality, and with it came the freedom to pursue their dreams and aspirations. They began to explore new hobbies and interests, discovering new facets of themselves and each other. The burdens of the past had been replaced by the excitement of new adventures and the joy of creating a life together. As the seasons changed, the cottage became a place of warmth and celebration. Lily and Ethan hosted gatherings with friends and family, sharing their story and the lessons they had learned. Their love, once tested by the darkness of the curse, now shone brightly as a beacon of hope and resilience. One evening, as they sat together on the porch of their cottage, watching the sun set over the horizon, Lily reflected on their journey. "We've come so far, haven't we? From the shadows of the past to this beautiful new beginning." Ethan took her hand, his eyes filled with love and appreciation. "Yes, we have. And every step of the way has brought us closer together. I wouldn't change a thing." They embraced, their hearts full of contentment and gratitude. The darkness of the past had been replaced by the light of their love, and the future stretched before them, filled with endless possibilities. In the peacefulness of their new home, Lily and Ethan found not just a place to live, but a new way of life. They were free from the shadows that had once haunted them, and their love had become a guiding light that would lead them through whatever lay ahead. As they looked out over the horizon, they knew that their new beginning was just the start of a beautiful journey. The past had shaped them, but it was the promise of the future that inspired them. Together, they embraced their new life, knowing that their love and resilience would see them through any challenge that might come their way. The curse was broken, the shadows were gone, and Lily and Ethan were finally free to live their lives to the fullest. With hearts full of hope and a future full of promise, they stepped into their new beginning, ready to face whatever the world had in store for them, together. The manor, once a place of darkness and sorrow, had transformed into a symbol of eternal love and redemption. The village, now free from the curse that had once plagued it, embraced the story of Lily and Ethan as a legend that would be told for generations to come. The manor stood proudly against the backdrop of the countryside, its once ominous facade now softened by the passage of time and the healing power of love. The grounds, meticulously tended and blooming with vibrant flowers, reflected the peace and serenity that had settled over the place. What had been a battleground of spirits and shadows was now a sanctuary of light and hope. Villagers and travelers alike visited the manor, drawn by the legend of Lily and Ethan's love. Stories of their bravery and the breaking of the curse were shared around hearths and campfires, each retelling adding to the rich tapestry of their tale. The manor, now a site of reverence, symbolized the triumph of love over darkness and the power of human spirit. Local artisans crafted beautiful mementos inspired by the story of Lily and Ethan. Jewelry, paintings, and sculptures celebrated their journey, each piece capturing the essence of their love and the light that had triumphed over the darkness. These artifacts found their way into homes across the village and beyond, each one a tribute to the enduring legacy of the couple's bond. In the village square, a statue was erected to honor Lily and Ethan. The statue depicted them standing together, hand in hand, their faces serene and filled with joy. The inscription at the base of the statue read, "In honor of Lily and Ethan, whose love broke the curse and brought peace to the manor." Their story is a testament to the power of love and the strength of the human spirit. May their eternal bond inspire us all. The statue became a gathering place for villagers, a spot where people came to reflect on the story of Lily and Ethan and the lessons it embodied. Children grew up hearing the tale, their imaginations filled with the romance and courage of the legendary couple. Festivals and celebrations in the village often included retellings of their story, keeping their memory alive in the hearts of all who heard it. Lily and Ethan's love story became more than just a legend. It became a beacon of hope and a reminder of the power of love to overcome even the darkest of challenges. Their journey, marked by trials and triumphs, became an integral part of the village's heritage, woven into the fabric of its history and culture. As the years passed, the manor continued to be a place of beauty and tranquility. Visitors who came to see the site of the legendary love story left with a sense of wonder and inspiration. The manor's transformation from a place of shadows to a symbol of eternal love was a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the magic of love. Lily and Ethan, though no longer physically present, remained a part of the village's soul. Their story lived on in the hearts of those who knew it, and their love continued to shine as a guiding light for generations to come. The manor, once haunted by darkness, now stood as a tribute to their eternal bond, a place where love triumphed over evil and where the legacy of Lily and Ethan would endure forever. Their love, now enshrined in legend, became a symbol of hope and resilience, inspiring all who heard their tale to believe in the power of love to conquer even the greatest of challenges. And so, the story of Lily and Ethan, their battle, and their triumph became an eternal legacy, a reminder that love, when pure and true, can transcend time and darkness, leaving a mark that lasts for eternity.